We want to bring you excellence. We want to bring you excellence at every level in substance because I believe you're worth it. I know you're worth it. I know our communities are worth it. I know that our country cannot grow GDP, gross domestic product, without everybody leaning against the wheel. And I'm so excited that black and brown people now are obsessed with figuring out how stuff works. And with me is someone who understands exactly how stuff works.
Hey.
Let me tell you something. You all think you understand. Can you tell everybody, by the way, in the lobby, I don't want you to miss this. Come inside. We did this for you. You can talk to somebody another time. Bring everybody inside. You will not have a chance to get this over again. You've got to listen to this man's wisdom. You know Charlamagne from one of the most popular radio programs in the country. And by extension, I will say, you can give him applause all at once. I got some other stuff coming. Hold on a minute. By extension, it's one of the biggest radio programs in the world because, as I keep reminding us, it's the largest economy in the world, the U.S. economy. It's the second largest radio program in the country for black America in particular, and is behind his friend, our friend. Is that still true, Steve Harvey? Is Steve Harvey still number one?
I don't know.
Oh, excuse me.
I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. That's
well,
my guy,
so it's clearly it is on par with anything going on in the world, and one of the largest in the world, and the first or second in America. Now, this is his part-time deal. He does that. He's also the CEO of the Black Effect Network and a shareholder with Bob Pittman, who owns iHeart. And I'm honored to be a small participant in that with him. What I'm really trying to get you to understand is that he is a philosopher and a prophet, not just financial prophet. Not just a financial prophet, I mean he translates between the streets and the suites. And while he talks to you in vernacular and that the community can understand, and he gets laughs and all that stuff, when I'm talking to him, first of all, if he's not listening because he's trying to learn something about business, whatever, the way he talks, I'm listening. Either I'm talking and he's listening, or he's talking, I'm listening and learning, and it's not about media. He understands the world. And people don't understand how deep this man's understanding is, but we're about to unpack some of it today. I'm honored to call you my friend, my brother. He also is a philanthropist. He's involved with mental health issues. He has a foundation focused on mental health. He is a well-rounded human being. He's a husband. He's a father. He's a good black man. Now you can say, welcome, Charlamagne, thy God.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
So why don't you unpack a little bit about this podcast network that is, I think, the largest podcast network for blacks in the country. What's that about in the world?
In the world, absolutely.
And why did you decide to do that? And how are you seeing all of these things that people are aware of? How that relates to the business model in your mind? What's your agenda for us? Is it just to sing and dance and laugh and have fun? Or is it something more serious and substantive? What is that? I see you oftentimes when you take pictures, you have a dead serious expression on your face. What's that about? And I know you have a beautiful smile, but you are dead serious about your mission. What is your mission?
That's a broad question. I mean, for me, I think at this point in my life, my mission is just to be of service. Because, I read something a long time ago from Dr. Wayne W. Dyer, and he said your true mission in life, your true purpose in life is service to others. And so I feel like, anything I create at this point in my life as far as, business is concerned, if it only benefits me, then it's not big enough. And so when I thought about the Black Effect Podcast Network, I always thought about Malcolm X when Malcolm X said, a person who controls the media controls the minds of the masses. And we always have these conversations, especially in the Black community, about, narratives and what narratives about us are getting out there. And we all know Black people aren't monolithic in any way, shape, or form. But if you can create a platform where you have, 28 distinct different voices on it, which the Black Effect does because we have 28 podcasts, under our network, you may not be able to get a full grasp of what, Black America is, but you can get damn close with 28, different voices. So we have everything from, comedy to sports to mental health and mindfulness to, politics to social justice. And yeah, I just hope that, we're creating something that, people can learn from on a daily basis. I hope, everybody in this room has a favorite podcast from the Black Effect, Podcast Network. And we probably do, whether it's the 85 South Show or, All the Smoke or Carefully Reckless or Deeply Well with Debbie Brown, Checking In with Michelle Williams. I feel like we have, something for everybody. And like I said, you can never go to any one place and get the full scope of what, Black America is discussing. But if you come to the Black Effect, you can get damn close.
So let's get damn close. Let's get close to your heart, your soul, your spirit, what you're about. Where does all this come from? We talked backstage about how there's good capitalism and bad capitalism. And bad capitalism is where I benefit, but everybody else pays a price for it. Mm-hmm. Good capitalism is where I benefit and everybody else benefits more. It seems to me that what you're trying to do with all of your enterprises, and this is what I try to highlight with folks that I believe in, is you're trying to practice good capitalism, doing well and doing good at the same time. And then you've got your philanthropies that you're giving back. You're also creating jobs. Absolutely. You got brilliant people like Dolly, who is running the Black Effect Network, who's a sister who's absolutely brilliant, who you've empowered to lead. Absolutely knows a Black woman doing it, who you've empowered to have real equity in leadership, and you defer to her, rightly so.
Oh, she's the reason that the whole Black Effect is successful. I don't do nothing. I just come up with the idea and say, hey, this is what I want to do. This is what I think it looks like. But, you got to have somebody that can, take that clay and give it shape. And she's the reason that the Black Effect has had the success over the last, 3 years that it's had is absolutely because of Dolly Bishop. She's in there somewhere. Salute to Dolly.
Yeah. Oh. Dolly, stand up. Stand up, Dolly.
Hey.
So if you think you have a podcast idea, you think you have a pod, don't go to her. Go to her with your idea. So what makes you tick? Where does this come from? Why the connection to mental health? Was there something in your background? We know the promise, we know the intellect, but the fact you could be, and I sort of set you up with this a little earlier, I was saying, is this about singing and dancing and having fun? Clearly it's not. I mean, I see you like a translator. On the one hand, you've got the pulse of Black America, and I'd argue America. You just on TV last week hosting
The Daily Show.
The Daily Show.
Yeah.
You got your pulse on the creative side of us, but you also can shift from the right brain, creative, to the left brain and be completely intellectual. Where do these two veins come from, and how does that tie into things like mental health, what's in your background that informs your hope and your deep concerns at the same time?
Well, for me, the reason I became, a quote-unquote mental health advocate, it was because I started going on my own journey, because I've been dealing with anxiety and depression literally my whole life. And, I first got clinically diagnosed with anxiety in 2010. Now, this is after I had gotten fired, for the fourth time from radio. And I'm back at home living with my mom. I think I was 31, 32 years old. My daughter's 2 years old at the time. My now wife, she was just my girlfriend at the time. She had to move back home with her parents in Monk's Corner. And I remember just having one of the most intense panic attacks I ever had in my life. One of those ones where, your palms are sweating, your heart is beating crazy. You really think it's over. You're about to have a heart attack. And I remember, going, to the doctor, and the doctor told me the same thing that so many doctors had told me throughout my life. Oh, your heart is fine. You got an athlete's heart. But he was the first person that said to me, it sounds like what you're describing to me is an anxiety attack. Do you have anxiety? And I was like, no, what is that? And then he explained it to me. And then he was like, well, are you stressed out about something? And I'm like, hell yeah. You know what I mean? And so in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, all I got to do is get another job, get another gig, and then everything will be fine. And the next gig I got was the Breakfast Club. But then, 5 or 6 years later, I've got more money than I've ever had in my life, more success than I've ever had in my life, but then
more problems.
More problems. None of that stuff is went away. The anxiety's still there. The bouts of depression and everything is still there. And so I just decided to start going to therapy for it. And and with me going to therapy, I get on the radio and I'm just talking about going to therapy every day at 3 o'clock. And I'm talking about the things that I'm learning in therapy. And people started coming to me and having conversations with me about the same things that I was discussing, the anxiety, the depression. And then people were coming to me saying, oh, my brother started going to therapy because of you, or my husband started going to therapy because of you. And I realized that it was just something that was becoming bigger than me. And it was a few situations that really made me dig deep into it. I remember it was Thanksgiving of 2018, and I was home in Moncks Corner, South Carolina. And my cousin, who was 25, he had just completed, suicide. And he had attempted suicide like 4 different times. But,
wow.
This time he completed it. And he used to do like a lot of odd jobs with my father, because my father does construction, so he would go out and work with him. And my dad called me, and my dad was like, yo, I just read your book, my second book, Shook One, Anxiety Playing Tricks on Me, where I talked about a lot of this. And he was like, I was reading your book, and then, cousin just completed suicide. And then he told me, my dad was like, yo, I've been on 10 to 12 different medications throughout my life. And I was going to therapy, 2 and 3 times a week. And I tried to kill myself, 30 years ago. And I remember going to my mom and saying, Mom, Pops was going through all of this. And she was like, I thought he was just playing crazy to get a check, But I thought about it. I'm like, man, if he would have told me those things 20 years prior, I would have known whenever I was having those panic attacks and those anxiety attacks what I was, dealing with. And
no stigma.
With no stigma. And then it was that. And then I had a good friend of mine. She completed suicide, during the pandemic. Her name was Jasmine Waters. And then I had another homeboy from out of the country named Shaq who committed suicide. And then also another situation too, it was when, the late great Nipsey Hussle got tragically taken away from us. And I remember watching that video because I didn't know what it was. Somebody sent it to me and I clicked on it and I'm looking at it. And I remember after watching that guy, gun Nipsey down, he kicked him. And I remember feeling complete empathy for him. Because I said to myself, that man must be in such pain that he committed such a heinous act against Nipsey and then felt like he had to kick him afterwards. And, it just made me realize, man, that so many of us are dealing with this hurt and this pain, and we're not talking to anybody about it. And I just wanted to just dedicate my life to it. And when I started getting, invited to speak on panels about it, I remember I got introduced as a mental health advocate one time, and I'm like, yo, I'm not no mental health advocate. And I remember, Tracy Jade, she helps run the Boris Lawrence Henson Foundation with Taraji P. Henson. She said, brother, yes, you are, whether you want to be or not, So it's just something that I decided to make my life's work.
Rainbows after storms. Cannot have a rainbow without a storm first. Let me tell you something. My second book was Love Leadership, and I said in that book that courage is nothing more than your faith reaching through your fear, displaying itself as action in your life. And what you just witnessed on this stage was one of the most amazing, vulnerable, transparent examples of courageous leadership I have ever seen from a public official, a public figure, a celebrity, or anybody. Love leadership. Vulnerability is power. Vulnerability is not a weakness, it's strength. But very few of us are tough enough to be soft. Give Charlamagne some love.
Man, John can make you feel good, boy. John be up here talking, I'll be like, who the hell is he talking about? That's me.
You're a bad brother, man.
Well, thank you, John. I appreciate it.
You're a bad brother. I try to live my life 8 to 10, man. 1 to 5 is mediocrity. 5 to 7 is entertainment. I said before, ladies, that's a guy you date but you don't marry. I'll wait for you to catch up.
They turning to look at their 7s right now. Like.
Or 6, or 5. Let me tell you what. We can go off the deep end. If you in a relationship, this is the only time I love math because they don't have an opinion. I love math. This is the only time I think math should not work. If you're in a relationship and 2 + 2 does not equal 6, 8, or 10, what are you doing?
Damn.
Because you can do bad all by your damn self.
Damn.
I mean, you've got to be better together. I've said this before, I'll say it again. When you guys finish with a conference, whatever, you're going to go to the club, and you're going to be out there jamming, and, she's fine. He's handsome. What's your name? What's your name? What's your credit score? And then, are you cray-cray? I mean, look, and it's okay if you're crazy, admit it. By the way, I said earlier, I don't think you were here, I said, look, black people, we go to church to scream and holler to get it out of our system, right? I said, I don't want to go to a shrink. I don't want to, I don't want to think I'm crazy. Everybody know you crazy. If you black in America and don't think you crazy, you are legitimately crazy.
That's right. You know what's crazy?
This world will drive you nuts.
Every sister I know literally says to me now, I'm not even dating a guy if they're not in therapy. Straight up.
Real talk.
If they either have been in therapy or need to be in therapy currently.
Post-pandemic, 54 million prescriptions for antidepressants in America. And that doesn't include those who are doing alternative means to other things, alcohol and,
drugs, okay.
Yeah.
I was confused. I was like, you mean drugs?
Yeah. I think the majority of people are clinically undiagnosed depressed and don't want to admit it. And here's the thing, if I don't like me, I'm not going to like you. If I don't feel good about me, I'm not going to feel good about you.
That's right.
If I don't respect me, don't expect me to respect you.
That's right.
If I don't love me, I don't have a clue how to love you. And if I don't have a purpose in my life, I'll make your life a living hell because whatever goes around comes around, and hurt people hurt people.
That's right.
So we have got to heal. There is no other way.
That's
and
right.
what you just described, you saved somebody's life tonight. Because you made it okay. We have got to remove the stigma.
That's right.
There is no perfect. It's just the best you can do.
And the only way to eradicate the stigma is for all of us to tell our stories.
That's right.
And that's why I am big on healing. It's so funny because when I was 17 years old, I got a tattoo of Wolverine from the X-Men on my arm. Tattoo is terrible, by the way. But the reason I gravitated towards Wolverine because one of his power was actually the heal. Like he could heal from any physical ailment that impacted him quickly. And I always felt like, that's the power that I wanted. And then I was 17 years old at the time, and I got Wolverine holding a microphone in his hand. And it represents, because I wanted to rap too, but that's a whole other story. But now when I think about it, I'm like, damn, Wolverine has a microphone in his hand. Microphones are what changed my life. And what helped me gravitate towards Wolverine was his ability to heal. And that's what I'm assisting people in doing for the rest of my life. Telling them where they can go to find resources to heal.
3 ways to live. That's right. 3 ways to live. Suicide, coping, and healing. There are people walking around dead. Look, we're not human beings having a spiritual experience.
The spiritual beings having a human
experience. Having a human experience. You can have the most dangerous person in the world is a person with no hope. There are people walking around, blink. They're dead. They're just, and they will take you out because they don't care about their life. Mm-hmm. We got to save them to save us. Then you got the coping, we just talked about that. But what you're now talking about is the most important thing. Love is work, healing.
That's right.
We got to deal with our mess.
That's right.
Before it deals
That's right.
with us.
If you don't deal with your trauma gonna deal with you.
So you've already dropped the mic because you've saved so many souls just by sharing not just your promise but your pain. It's all the same journey, right? I mean, I talk to myself every day, and the glass is half full or it's half. The water on your table is either half full or half empty. Depends who's looking at the glass. If somebody says that glass is half empty, walk, bounce. That's a negative person. Whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right.
Right.
So the case for optimism is, what's the choice? Because, again, I can't guarantee that being positive is going to make you a success, but I guarantee you being negative will make you fail.
That's right.
You have decided to be positive and make it a business case. And you've done that, from what I can see, through all of your enterprises. About how many companies or enterprises do you now run?
Like 6, I believe.
Most people wouldn't know that.
Yeah, Black Effect Podcast Network, SBH Productions, me and Kevin Hart. That's our production company with Audible. Black Privilege Publishing with Simon & Schuster. Damn, I'm forgetting.
Some real estate.
Yeah, of course, real estate. Me and my wife, we bought 6 Crystals franchises that we're opening in South Carolina next year. I have a dispensary and consumption lounge in Newark, New Jersey that we're opening at the top of next year. I don't know. I'm just happy to be here. God is good, man. All that, I don't know.
and let's end with this. And we never talked about this. What is this connection for you? I know what it is for me. You're my brother. Mm-hmm. And we operate at a high frequency in conversation. We also have some fun conversation. We have some interesting texts back and forth, but people would not necessarily suspect what we're talking about. But what is it for you? Bishop Jakes, by the way, who's here. Right. We want to thank him for bringing us together. Right, he's here. But what is this connection for you, and why did you want me associated with your Black Effect Network?
Well, I'm an energy person, and we met at Bishop T.D. Jakes' birthday party, and it's just like, you can have a lot of conversations with people, and it sounds good, but it was just something about you that was just very, very, very authentic, and you invited me to come here, last year, and so I came honestly to see if you were who you say you were, even though, but it was that, the fact that you always have something very positive to say, the fact that you have a black wife,
Oh, dang.
Because a lot of people, in your position don't. Damn, I'm sorry. But it was.
And by the way, that had nothing to do with white people.
No.
Yeah, that was about. I understand. We understand what he meant.
Yeah. And I don't know, man. It's just like I said, I'm just an energy person. Sometimes you and an individual just click. And I love the way that you're of service to people. I love the way that you pour into people because you don't have to. You do it because that's what you choose to do, and it's the right thing to do. And I appreciate you for always pouring into me because sometimes, man, you don't even see what you're capable of because there's people out there who see things in you that you may not even see in yourself. And I think sometimes God sends the right individuals into your life at just the right time to help you get to that next level and let you know there is a next level to get to.
So we're out of time, but I think I need to unpack something that Charlamagne said, not for any reason other than I think it's affirming. My wife has this quote that she educated me on, Shatra. She has this quote. She said that all behavior is learned behavior. I put it another way and say we model what we see. And what I think Charlamagne was saying, and you correct me if I'm wrong, is if you want to pick somebody white, black, orange, God bless you. Find somebody you love, all good. It had nothing to do with that. What he's saying is, all too often, somebody who's successful, who's black, for some strange reason, when they get to a certain point, they start making different choices. And I think young people look at that and say, well, does that mean that, I guess, black women are not whatever, fill in the blanks? Mm-hmm. And so I think what he's saying is pick who you want. But it's nice to go from the bottom to the top and take your love with you, take your people with you, and to show the young people That you can have it all.
That's right.
All of it, including my Shatra. I love you.
I love you too, brother. Appreciate you.